Ever walk out of the doctor's office, and kind of wonder, where's all that stuff go? Like
Yeah.
the needles, the vials, all that.
Easy to just not think about it once it's out of sight, huh?
Right. Out of sight, out of mind. But that's exactly where today's deep dive is taking us. Medical waste. Specifically, we're looking at GIC medical waste disposal. They deal with the stuff most folks don't even want to picture.
Crucial part of healthcare, but yeah, not the most pleasant to think about.
Okay, so picture this. You're in a hospital, right? But instead of patients, we're focused on what's left over. Use sharps, tissues, lab stuff, like a whole other world back there.
It's a whole system. And for good reason. That's
Yeah.
not your average garbage. Mishandled, it's, well, a recipe for disaster. Pathogens, bacteria.
Makes you appreciate companies like GIC her. They're the ones making sure it doesn't turn into a biohazard situation.
And they're not messing around. Compliance and security are, like, their top priorities. Makes sense hospitals have enough on their plate, right?
Totally. But here's the thing. It's more than just checking boxes. GIC, they're seriously into the whole environmental responsibility thing, too.
Yeah, they get it. Sustainability matters, even with waste. Not everyone sees it that way, unfortunately.
So they've got this whole philosophy, compliant and secure, environmentally responsible, and customized waste management. Like the 3 pillars of getting rid of stuff properly.
And it shows they get that there's no one solution for everything, right? Small clinic versus huge hospital, totally different needs.
So how do they customize things? What does that even look like in real life?
It's all about adapting, right? Small clinic might need specific containers, a pickup schedule. Big hospital, way more complex, specialized treatments probably.
Okay, so say I'm running a big hospital. GIC shows up. What happens to all my medical waste?
Picture a well-oiled machine. Step 1, secure pickup. Tamper-proof containers, those biohazard symbols, which, by the way, that's intentional. Universal warning.
Handle with care.
Exactly. Then, treatment time. Neutralize the hazards. Could be high heat, incineration, or autoclaving. Basically super-powered scheme to sterilize.
It's wild how much goes into something we barely think about.
Right. And that careful approach, it carries through to disposal, too. They're all about minimizing that ecological footprint. Probably using cutting-edge stuff. Waste energy, who knows?
Speaking of stuff we don't think about, it's not just needles and bandages, right? Pharmaceutical waste, whole other level of don't want that getting out.
Good point.
Mm.
How do you make sure leftover chemo drugs are dealt with safely? That's not going in the incinerator, probably.
Definitely not. Okay, we're about to get into the nitty-gritty of that pharmaceutical disposal. Way more interesting than it sounds, trust me. But first, we're back. Still neck deep in the world of medical waste. And with us, still, are the folks from GIC. Before, we were just getting to the tricky stuff, pharmaceutical waste. Way different ballgame than, like, used gloves, right?
Totally. Think about it. Expired meds, leftover from treatments, even stuff as serious as chemo agents. Those can't just, disappear.
Not something you want to leave in a dumpster for just anyone to find, that's for sure. And it's not just about keeping it away from, like, curious animals, right? It's bigger than that groundwater accidental exposure, the whole shebang.
It's a big deal. And that's where a company like GIC, they really come in handy. They're not treating expired pills the same way as a scalpel, that's for sure.
So what do? Got a special incinerator just for old aspirin or something?
Well, it's way more involved than that. First off, they got to sort everything. Different pharmaceuticals, different methods of destruction, some stuff.
Yeah, maybe super high heat, incinerated into nothing.
Like a pharmaceutical bonfire?
Kinda, yeah. But then you've got others, gotta neutralize them chemically, and some. It's all about the environment, right? Powerful antibiotics, that kind of thing. You do not want those leaking into the water table. Bad news.
Sounds like a logistical nightmare, honestly. Makes you realize even tossing out your old meds, there's a whole process behind it.
And it doesn't end there. GIC, they give you paperwork. Like official certificates of destruction, proof it's really gone.
So no chance those painkillers end up in a landfill somewhere. They got the receipts to prove it. Exactly. And for hospitals, that's huge. Peace of mind, right? They know they're covered, legally and ethically.
It's like GIC takes on the stress so doctors don't have to. They can stick to, well, doctrine.
And that brings up another thing. GIC seems to get customer service. This isn't just a pick-up, drop-off kind of deal. It's about trust.
It's a human touch, even when it's, well, dehumanized stuff they're dealing with.
Exactly. It's a weird field, right? Technical, kind of gross. But they make it clear communication matters, being reliable matters, and actually building a relationship with the clients.
Makes sense. If I'm running a clinic, I want to know the people handling my hazardous byproducts are the best, and that they're easy to work with on top of that.
100%. Trust and transparency. You need that everywhere, but especially when you're talking about something as potentially dangerous as medical waste, right?
Absolutely. But you know what's kind of funny? We talk about the wonders of medicine, the technology, the cures, but we never stop to think about what happens after.
Like it just magically disappears, right?
Right. But as we've been saying, there's a whole system in place,
Yeah.
and it makes sure that even the kind of icky parts of healthcare are done right.
It's like they're the unsung heroes of the whole system, the ones nobody wants to think about until they have to.
Okay, but that actually makes me wonder, if GIC is all about sustainability, what does the future of medical waste even look like? We talking like biohazard bins with lasers in them, robots taking the trash out? What's next?
Well, maybe not quite that futuristic, but things are changing. Like waste to energy, that's a big one. Literally turning medical waste into something usable.
Wait, like what if they could power a hospital wing with the leftovers?
Exactly. It's like closing the loop on the whole system. And it shows how we're thinking about it differently now. Not just get rid of it, but what can we do with it?
So it's not even enough to just do things right anymore. You got to find ways to do them better.
That's it. And that takes, research, new tech, a real commitment to keep finding safer, greener solutions.
Kind of inspirational, actually. GIC's not just hauling trash. They're pushing the boundaries in a field most folks wouldn't even think twice about.
And doing it with style. That whole compliance, transparency, customer first thing, that's something else.
They're setting the bar high, that's for sure.
And that's important even if most of us never even see the inside of a medical waste incinerator. Out of sight shouldn't mean out of mind.
Well said. Sometimes the most important work is happening behind the scenes. And in GIC's case, that work is keeping healthcare safe, clean, and running smoothly.
Exactly. It's a good reminder that even in a complicated system like healthcare, it takes a whole team of dedicated people, companies too, to make it work.
It's been pretty amazing peeking behind the curtain of this whole medical waste world. Next time you see one of those biohazard symbols or tossing out an old pill bottle, think about it. There's a lot more going on than you might think.
And who knows, maybe one of our listeners will be the one to come up with the next big thing in medical waste.
That's what we like to hear. Until next time, stay curious, everyone. Absolutely. But you know what's kind of funny? We talk about the wonders of medicine, the technology, the cures, but we never stop to think about what happens after.
Like it just magically
Is that-
disappears, right?
Right. But as we've been saying, there's a whole system in place, and it makes sure that even the kind of icky parts of healthcare are done right.
It's like they're the unsung heroes of the whole system, the ones nobody wants to think about until they have to.
Okay, but that actually makes me wonder, if GIC is all about sustainability and doing things the right way, what's next? What does the future of medical waste even look like? Are we talking like biohazard bins with lasers in them, robots taking the trash out?
Well, maybe not that futuristic, at least not yet. But things are changing. Waste to energy, for example, that's pretty huge. Literally turning medical waste into something usable.
Wait, so like what? They could power a hospital wing with the,
Yeah.
the leftovers?
Exactly. It's closing the loop on the whole system.
Yeah.
And it shows how our thinking is evolving. It's not just get it out of here. It's what else can we do with this?
So it's not even enough to do things right anymore. You got to find ways to do them better.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's where the exciting stuff comes in. Research, new tech, that constant push to find safer, greener solutions.
Yeah.
That's the future.
Pretty inspiring when you think about it. GIC is not just hauling trash, they're pushing the boundaries. And in a field, let's be honest, most folks wouldn't give a second thought to.
And doing it right. That whole compliance, transparency, customer first thing, that's setting a new standard.
The bar is high, that's for sure.
And that's how it should be. This stuff matters, even if we never actually see it. Outside shouldn't mean out of mind. Yeah.
Couldn't agree more. Sometimes the most important work happens behind the scenes, and when it comes to GIC, that work is keeping healthcare running smoothly and safely.
Exactly. It's a team effort, right? It takes a whole network of dedicated people, companies like GIC,
Right.
all working together to make it work.
It's been pretty eye-opening, honestly, peeking behind the curtain of the medical waste world. So next time you see one of those biohazard symbols or toss an old pill bottle, think about it. There's a lot more to this story.
Maybe one of our listeners will be inspired. Who knows? They could be the next big innovator in medical waste.
Now that's what we like to hear. That's going to do it for us today. Until next time, everybody, stay curious.